Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So as lots of you already know, we are planning to buy a 7.5 ton lorry to convert into our new home on wheels. Now there's just one problem, and that's that we aren't legally allowed to drive a 7.5 ton lorry.
We're dreamers, don't care what other people say. We live it like this could be our final day. We're dreamers, don't care what the others say. We're doing this in our own way.
Now I have no plans to drive the thing, but obviously Richard will need to drive it. We need to travel about. So he's going to be going for his C1 license, which will mean that he is legally allowed to drive our new home and we can carry on our adventures.
Okay, stage one. We've just pulled up at Holiday Inn here where I'm going to have my medical for the C1. So I've got my documents. Let's go inside, let's get this done, and I'll be back soon. Okay, that is me back. It took about 10 minutes in there, very basic. I'm a bit boring, I don't have much of a medical history, so it all went well. Got my D4 done, so I just need to sign it and then we'll send it off for my provisional license. Okay, good morning guys. This is D-Day. I got my theory test in about 15 minutes. So I've got my multiple choice first at 9 o'clock. It's about 100 questions. And then later on this afternoon I've got my hazard perception. So it's just around the corner. Wish me luck. We'll see how we get on. Okay, that was a bit tense. Just come out of test centre, now heading back to Kira's parents, the in-laws. We're just house sitting at the minute, but no, that's the test done. Did the multiple choice first, 100 questions. It did mess me around a little bit because a lot of the questions I didn't have a clue. So I did a lot of guessing on that one, but pleased to say passed the multiple choice. Second up we did was the hazard perception. That's 19 clips that you have to click on hazards and developing hazards. And that was all right, passed that as well. So that's both theories passed. So gonna head back and book up the practical now. Okay then guys, so before we go on to the practical, let's have a look back at that theory. I used an app which I found it was well rated. I'll see if I can find it, and if I do I'll put it just in a link. But it was cheap, it was about $4.99. It runs through all the questions with little information, and then you can do your mock tests and that sort of thing. Really good. So yeah, you do your multiple choice, and then I just sat there and I did my hazard perception as well. Hazard perception is your 19 video clips. 18 of them will have one developing hazard and one of them will have two developing hazards. When I was doing my practice run on the app, I actually failed the first time. If you watched a previous vlog, I failed on the app as a practice. When I look back, I realized that I was actually clicking slightly too soon. So I developed this little technique where I see a hazard, I just click, and then I click, and then I click, and I do that. But you have to be a little bit careful because it will sense if you're trying to play the game. I think if there is a hazard, do a couple of clicks is my recommendation, just to make sure you get within that 5-point or 4-point bracket. There we go, that is the theory tests. Relatively easy, but make sure you do your practice. Just get an app on your phone, or if you do like reading a book, then look for a book.
There is something to be said about how you fill the room up. You walk on by and sting my heart with doubt. Did you notice how I felt?
I'm waking up by myself today because Richard has gone off very early this morning to start day one of his C1 training. So he had the alarm on for 5:30 this morning, so it started quite early. And so it's just me this morning with the kids, which is eventful. We're so used to doing everything together that, yeah, it's a bit strange when the other one's gone. He passed his theory test on Thursday. It is now Monday, so that's how quick he was able to book it for, which is brilliant, just what we wanted. So he's off doing day one, I believe it's a bit of a shorter day, so I'm just going to be looking after the kids this morning, doing schoolwork. I've got lots of tidying to do as well. And then later on when he comes back, we'll find out how his first day went. And it only takes 2 days. Well, hopefully it only takes 2 days.
It's day one down. So we did 3 hours this morning, 7 in the morning. So I was up at 5:30 this morning.
Yeah, I said you had your alarm on.
That was an early one, yeah. We did 3 hours of training, and we did the first part of the test, which is for me a reverse maneuver. It's a very easy maneuver to do.
But didn't you think that would be the hardest bit, and it turned out to be easy?
Yeah, well, I thought I was going to be doing the training in a 7.5 ton lorry, and I'm doing it in a transit van smaller than this van. So
bit of a joke.
Yeah, like the transit van I'm doing it in is only like 4.5 ton rated or something, so it's not that much heavier than this, and it's not bigger than this. So yeah, easy. But I got my nice, well, I say nice, it's black and white and A5. They can't even afford to give a proper certificate nowadays.
So let's just over here and turn
Yeah, it's that silver.
The grey one, is that the one you hit it? Right, so we're just pulling up now. We just arrived at Rick's driving school, day 2.
D-Day today.
Proper D-Day today,
I don't need
yeah. So he's a little bit late, so I think he's gonna
I know.
just head off now, rush in. He's got his lunch.
I got my little packed lunch, so I can go to school. I was on time yesterday because I was driving by myself.
It's my fault apparently.
And I'm now a little bit late because I've got Madam here and the kids, but
never mind.
I need to go. I need to go.
Good luck.
Right.
Right. See you later, babe.
Yeah, it's this big one I'm going to drive.
No, it's not. Good luck. How long have you been waiting?
Half hour.
No. Yeah. How did you do then?
Oh. All good.
Yeah?
Pass.
Pass? Yeah.
No minors.
No minors whatsoever?
No minors at all.
Well done.
Which was shocking.
Daddy did it!
Yay, we can buy a lorry now.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Yeah. Isn't that cool?
Why?
Oh yeah, no, it went well. So I booked a 10-hour intensive course over 2 days. 10 hours was for very experienced drivers, very experienced. Then you had 12 hours for experienced, I think it was 14 for some experience, and 16 hours for just zero experience in vans. So I did the 10 hours for very experienced, and I paid for the lessons and all the test fees. I paid, including VAT as well, £935. So quite a bit of money. And if I'm being honest, I don't think I actually needed 10 hours of lesson. So I think if you've got experience in vans, if you're a van lifer or whatever you want to be called, you've driven motorhomes, driven panel vans, it's probably worth trying to negotiate something with your instructor to say, hey, look, I've got a lot of experience, maybe 6 hours is going to be good enough. At the same time, you don't want to undercut it too much. So we want a lorry. We want a lorry, that's what we want. So I thought I was going to do it in a 7.5 ton lorry. I ended up doing it in a Ford Transit, which was smaller than this current van. On a wheelbase size, so the overall length of the Transit was smaller, but it did weigh 4.6 tons. So it's one of them, isn't it? You've already got experience driving a panel van. There's not really much difference in a 4.6 ton Transit. There's very, very, very little difference. There's 3 parts to the test. There's the first part, which is, I think they call the module 3A. It's a reverse maneuver, so it's a snake. You have to reverse through these cones, and then you have to reverse with the back end of your vehicle within this chevron area. This was quite easy. You're also allowed, within that test and within that maneuver, 2 shunts. So you're allowed to adjust yourself twice. And then when you reverse back and you have to get the back end of your vehicle in the chevron area, you're also allowed to get out of the vehicle and check and adjust yourself. Now the Transit I did it in also had a reverse camera, so there is no way you're ever going to fail that, in my opinion, unless you're really bad. The second part is your driving, the actual driving test on the road. So the first thing the examiner will do is ask you a few questions. It's what they call the show and tell. There's a YouTube video out there where they actually go through all the questions. I think it's about 21 questions, and the examiner will pick 5. Now, we did this sat in the cab. He said, demonstrate how to use a horn. Yep, so make sure you know where a horn is. He said, how would you tell that your windows are in good order? You know, it's like no cracks, that sort of stuff. So it's very, very basic stuff. We then went on a drive, and the only manoeuvre you need to do on this drive is pull over to the left-hand side 4 times. Other than that, you follow his directions. Yeah, I'm going to show off now. I got 0 minors. Very happy with that. So overall, if you live in a van already, or if you have a motorhome, this test is easy, unless you make a silly mistake. So, but there we go. That's the practical. Once you've done that, they will send the license off for you there and there. And happy days, you've got your C1 entitlement. As I said, the lessons and the practical tests cost me $935. The medical cost me $55, and the theory tests, I don't know how much they cost me. I think it's about $35 plus 11. So overall, it cost me about £1,050 to do this license, which is a big sum of money. There we go. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. Keep an eye out, because we are looking for a van or a truck or a lorry, whatever you want to call it. Kira keeps telling me off calling it a truck. It's a lorry. Found a couple we like. Found this really cool Mercedes Atigo. It's a bit of a beast. 22-foot box on the back. Sleeper cab. Looks absolutely brilliant. But yeah, subscribe, hit that notification bell, because yeah, we've got a lot happening over this summer, and then we're going to be hitting the road for our big adventures. So stay tuned.